Hello, Sarah. So good to have you here. And finally, we're having this one-on-one conversation. So, guys, I am here with Mr. Sayo Awolabi, the Secretary General, African Esports Development Federation. Anyway, sir, so how have you been? How's the economy been doing to you? Hope the economy has been fine to you.
Yeah, it's been fine. That's my philosophy, yes. Of course, it's been challenging. But that's what happens when reforms and different things are happening within the government. So
Right.
it's only left to you to know how to recalibrate and make the best out of it. We can't, like we say in the Nigerian parlance, we can't kill ourselves. Better you. That's the way I live.
Awesome, really. I feel you, and I could say the same too, but I'm not secretary, so yeah. So down to esports, down to the reason why we're here for Esports African News and for esports generally. My first question to you, sir, would be from the governance perspective, right? Because you're in the government, right? And this is not just for Nigeria. This is for why are you smiling?
Right, totally.
So this is not just for Nigeria. This is for Africa in general. What's your characteristic, or do you think we are now in maturity stage in esports?
Sadly, no, and it's rather disappointing because a few years back I had an interview with Super Sports, a few other platforms. So I don't need to mention platform, and I talked about the fact that it was at an evolution stage. So if you say evolution a few years back, at this point, maybe we should be talking maturity.
Right.
But that hasn't been the case. And it has a lot of factors affecting it, from people living in delusion. And that's a sad state, because if you're delusional, then you would not be able to see the reality of things and then fit into it by either your expertise or whatever it is. So people live in a delusion of, oh, we're on stage 10. Meanwhile, we're still on probably stage 2 at the time of that delusion. So you would remain there because you think you have passed that stage.
Right.
You will not move from 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. You'll just be at a delusional 10. Meanwhile, you're not there yet. So, that is on one stage. On another stage is lack of knowledge and understanding of the ecosystem, which I've always preached from day one.
True.
That's one of the reasons why education is my core. When I got into esports, I didn't go to school for it. I was not taught in school for it. I have a different background entirely. But it was important to gain knowledge. Unfortunately, a lot of informal knowledge. The only formal knowledge I had was at Johan Cruyff Institute for the MOOC in esports.
Okay.
So knowledge is another reason why we are not at that maturity stage. So if we take away delusion, if we seek knowledge, then I think we can begin to talk about maturity of esports in Africa.
So on a scale of 0 to 10, where will you say Nigeria is?
Nigeria
or Africa?
Africa is multidimensional. I'm sure you know that. The North Africans are not
or South Africa's even.
South Africa,
yeah.
the country, not the region.
Yeah, sure.
The region, of course, did a bit of work there, and I can say that they're catching up fast. Kudos to some of the individuals and organizations in that region, the Southern African region. But it's multidimensional, so if we can't group everyone together, but if we're to drill down to Nigeria, which maybe it may still end up, getting some to raise their eyebrows.
Right.
But the idea is for us to look ourselves in the face. It's post-COVID, 5 years post-COVID. If after 5 years we can't look ourselves in the face and tell ourselves the truth, then we're deceiving ourselves.
Right. So
it will include me too. So nobody should because I'm a Nigerian. So at
yes,
this
very
point,
true.
it's at 4. We're not even doing average of what we should be doing because there's a lot to be done, and we're not doing it. So it's a sad
Very
4,
true.
and we should be beyond that at this point. If we're talking about Morocco, talking about South Africa, talking about Egypt, and the things that the country has achieved, the organizations they have achieved, the federations in those countries have achieved, then we should be doing better as Nigeria.
Right.
Africa as a whole, maybe it's midpoint, because some are pulling up, some are pulling down. So midpoint would be the case for Africa.
Okay, that brings me to my next question, which is if some part of or sub regions in Africa are doing better than, let's say, Nigeria, What do you think is the infrastructural or policy that those countries are doing that we are not maybe implementing here in Nigeria?
So infrastructure you mentioned already. So
you don't tell me internet.
No. I don't.
Okay.
That point. In fact, when we first came in, and when I say we, I mean myself and my team. When we first came in, and everyone was complaining about internet, we drilled down to doing more around mobile gaming, which they demand much in terms of usage. It's when you put internet on the console that you need to do more. So we did a lot around mobile gaming. So internet was never an excuse for us.
Right.
In fact, I remember one of my interviews on Al Jazeera where I was talking, and one of the things I pointed out was the fact that we need to circumvent our challenges and see what works for us. If you keep complaining, then you would not see what works.
100.
That's what we saw. So a few years after, now everyone is doing a lot around PUBG, a lot around Call of Duty. Those were the things we were doing then. We were not focused on Street Fighter, the EFC. It was FIFA at the time before they broke away from the international organization. So infrastructurally, I'd say, where is that place where people can grow their talents? Because the only time people gather is to play tournaments, which are few and far between. Nexal,
Game Evo,
Nexal, what's that?
Game Evo,
yeah, Gamer, Battlefield, and those are like
a handful of them actually.
But we need a point where it's not just down to tournaments, because that's not the place to earn your skills. That's where you should come and show your skills.
Yeah.
You earn your skills behind the scene. So how do these kids get to earn their skills behind the scene? Many of them have access to some of these games. How many of them have access to, for those who play on console, is even worse.
I swear.
Anybody can get a mobile phone, download the game and get to play. All now matters is how much money you have to buy the skins and the other things that you need to, advance your skill in there. So what is that rallying point that we've created for talents to grow? That's very important. Second thing you mentioned, which is policies. Yes, we have a federation at the moment. Congratulations to the guys, but what have we seen in the last 8 months?
True.
And for you to take up the mantle of being a federation, because I'm a federation myself and I know the fight I have for the leadership of the Global Esports Federation and of course the Africa Esports Development Federation. For you to take on the mantle of a federation, it means you want to shape the outcome of things. So
a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. It's not a part-time thing. So how much of that have we put into get policies in place that helps brands to even see how they can support you and grow the ecosystem? So there's a lot of work in there, and that is what we're not doing. We're saying at the moment, and I just got privy to that information which was shared. It's public one. I just got to know about it this morning.
Okay.
The president of Kenya's federation, who interestingly is now a board member of the GAF himself, Ronnie Musigi, is in Riyadh for the FIFA E-Festival.
Imagine.
Is anybody from Nigeria there? And those are places where you get to, meet people. Those are places where you get to exchange
connect
ideas.
and network.
You get to connect and see what you can even bring from there into your country. So we need to see this as not just sitting back home and folding our legs and saying this and that, but to think out of the box, possibly tear the box, and get to impact our ecosystem. That's what we're not doing at the moment, and there's a lot of work to do in that area. That is the difference between us and these countries we say are doing well.
True.
Even on a private level, how much of an exposure do we have to international engagements and events? This year alone, and we can blow our trumpets. All this stuff. This year alone, as my private organization, Mobile, we took a journey to Singapore to train on virtual taekwondo.
Wow.
And at the moment, only myself and my co-founder, Ife Akitajo, are the only 2 people who can operate the virtual taekwondo in all of Africa. We beat our chest to say that.
Kudos.
Aside that, I went for the new Global Sports Conference. I've been invited to speak at the Next World Forum when it first started. But now, they invited me, and I took it upon myself to go on my own build.
Right.
Paid for. Yes, they did my visa, but my point is we need to leave the comfort zone of believing, we're in charge here to harness those opportunities out there. And I know how much opportunities I harnessed from that trip to Riyadh in September. Those are the instances we need to work on as a country, and that's what will take us from where we are right now. Just, we do our tournaments and we all go back to sleep. And we're waiting for the next one the following year or the next quarter. No, we need to do more than
this what you've said now. I think I was talking to Julia. I was like, we need to move past just being content creators. Just take out the videos, go for the events, and after that, what is next? How do we have a lot of female, I'm all about females in gaming, females in esports. Like in this event, we meet ladies that want to play, they have interest, but then you find out that they have challenges of who's going to teach them,
where are they going
exactly to? After the event, after the tournament, what is next? Right. So my next question is, what is African Esports Development Federation doing to promote esports talents or athletes in Nigeria and in Africa?
In Africa.
Yes.
So what we can do rests majorly on these countries. And I have had to tell some of them this thing sometimes, that if I say some things to the leadership of the GF, like I said, it's third party from me. Why don't you say it so that I can back it up?
Right.
It's easier that way. Let's not get it twisted. If you tell me something now, let's say you are hypothetically Gambia Esports, and you tell me something and I take it to the leadership, it's third party reportage. Or if you say it
directly,
say, Shayo, we got this memo from Gambia, I can put a voice in and say, oh yeah, I think this makes sense. So at the end of the day, whatever we create is still rests on the different countries and their federations to make it resonate in their countries. If they do not have the capacity, the willpower to do things, then whatever we create would not even have an impact in those countries. So more than anything, I throw it back at them. What have you set up that can be backed up for you to achieve this growth and talent and accessing different opportunities? If you're not ready, then there's no way we can create anything, because it still rests on them. We can't come into Nigeria, for example, and start doing anything without the federation.
Okay, that's true.
We can't come into Nigeria and say AEDF is coming, because there's nothing to build it on. And that's why I said we're doing something in southern parts. We did something in Malawi, tried to do something in Namibia. It didn't turn out good earlier this year. But we know the impact of what we've done with the African Union Sports Council Region 5 has had in that region. Now, when we first did it in 2022 in Malawi, there were just about maybe 4 of the 10 countries. 3 thereabout that were government recognized. But now they have well over 6 of them, government recognized federations in the country. So that's what we're saying. Next thing would be to build on that recognition. Beyond recognition, what are your plans? What are your projects? What are the ones you need the support of the GEF or the AEDF for? Those are ways we can support these countries. We can't just come in and set up a structure. It's not done in international sports government.
Right, because they have like certain standards, certain policies. I think I need to go back and add some things and come back see because there are opportunities, but not everyone knows. The only thing is, okay, let's run tournaments, let's make our money, and
for traditional federations.
Football. Okay.
Those are the things we exposed to at my own private entity. We tried to access the ITTF Foundation Fund this year through virtual table tennis, which we're doing a lot around virtual sports now.
Okay.
That's a vertical of esports that the IOC is big on. Well, beyond us trying to access it, we were thinking, what happened to the Nigerian Table Tennis Federation? It's the same problem.
Do we have one?
Of course there is. So
I'm sorry,
of course there is. The president of ITTF in Africa at the moment is a Nigerian, and he was a former president of the NTTF.
Can you imagine?
Why can't NTTF, which would have been easier, they would have gotten it even beyond us, because we are coming as a private entity. Their federation would have gotten it easy peasy if what you put forward, the proposal you put forward, makes sense to the ITTF Foundation, right? But we're not even sure they applied for it. We're not even sure they are aware this kind of funds and the opportunities to access something from the international organization. So the same problem is what we're beginning to see with esports federations and organizations also. Let's look beyond holding offices. Let's put programs forward, put strategies forward, see how your international organization can support you. That's the best way for us to work, because we can't come in. I repeat, we can't come in. I can't call the president now. Mr. Tommy, sir.
Yeah.
Well, let's go to Senegal.
Because also ask you the same question.
We'll still go and work with the Senegalese Federation to do anything we want to do there. So they need to shape up and show the signs that we're ready to do these programs and work with the AEDF or the GAF to achieve this.
Wow. I for one, I'm just even knowing that I know there's a body called AEGF, but I didn't know they have so much power, and there are a lot of opportunities around it, because not everyone even knows this. Trust me, a lot of people
it's normal, because there's also that, which is part of the delusion. There's also that part of people thinking federations are not needed in it. It depends on how you want to.
True.
If as a private entity, what you want to do does not get to the point of beyond maybe the government approvals and endorsement for things that are necessary. If that's all you want to access, then it's fine. But the truth is, there's a next level for you to attain that needs the federation input.
True.
For example, if we're talking about the Olympic Esports Games, yes, it's been rested for now. We're hoping it's brought back by the IOC.
Oh, okay.
You can't access the Olympic Esports Games without federation.
That's true. So sorry. So private entities that are big can't even say, okay, we have players, we have infrastructure and everything. Can we now go for the Olympics?
You can't go as what? So the question is, are you the ones taking? You can go with the Team Nigeria. Team Nigeria will still go to the Olympic Esports Games through the Nigeria Olympic Committee. Even the federation in esports has to queue under the NOC to access that. But let me bring it to our own Global Esports Games. When we joined, there was no Esports Federation or Nigeria Esports Federation, right?
Okay.
So we joined as Lagos Esports Forum, which was just a private organization. We joined the GF and we took the team to Riyadh. Street Fighter, Chooks, and the guys who played, 10, 11 guys who played PUBG Mobile.
Oh, okay.
Representing Nigeria there. That was because there was no federation at the time. Now that there's a federation that has joined the GF,
you have to go through, the
federation is now saddled with the responsibility. We won't be dragging that with them, because that is their role, that is their responsibility to get the team to the Global Esports Games. There's one expected for 2025, expected to happen in February 2026 in India.
Okay.
Of course, Los Angeles in December 2020 for 2026 26th edition. So that's their responsibility. So we won't be dragging that because we are not a federation, and we never positioned from day one to be a federation. But we're saddled with the responsibility to bring the representatives of Nigeria at the time in Riyadh in 2023, because there was no federation.
So everything still boils down to the government.
So government would always be part of everything. I know people are saying, it's the publishers. The publishers are,
we need them.
Tencent would not go against the laws of China, go against the policies of China. And we've seen instances where Tencent's game, PUBG Mobile, was bad in India. They know how much money they lost from that. So forget, because India has a large population.
Definitely.
That's a population they fed on for so long. But the government had issues with the game, albeit political, albeit commercial. Because let's not forget, another game now sprang up by Indians to rival that, which was what they now allowed people to play. Because you could bypass with VPN and all that, but that's by the way. But my point is, government will always play a role. Government would always be big on those things. And whatever people say, it's just the way the order of life is.
Right.
I take it back to Mufasa. It's the order of life.
It's power and authority, actually.
Power, authority, and order. Because when there is no order and everyone is just running here and there, then how do you have a convergence that brings sanity into the system? So you might be anti-government, you might be anti-federation, but it's just what it is to bring sanity, order into the system, and it's not just some monopoly happening somewhere.
Damn. Well, so aside from governments playing a role, private entities, athletes playing a role, what do you think schools like universities, secondary school, and private schools have to do regarding the esports ecosystem?
Their role is massive, and that's the part we're yet to unlock on this side of things.
Okay.
The guys in the UK are doing a brilliant work, I still had a conversation with Tom Dodd, the vice president of British Esports. He was telling me how big the school tournaments are. They have their school champs. That's what it's called, British school champs. And it's a huge tournament played around Valorant, Fortnite, and some other titles. We cannot neglect that part of things.
Okay.
In fact, with our new drive on virtual sports, one of the things in our head is how to get it into secondary schools. Because there's no better place to start. And it's like going back, I know we are not in the same generation. The generation still has...
I'm not a Gen Z. Please don't do that.
So, going back in time when we used to have clubs in school. And it's up
Jet Club and stuff.
So, what stops us from having esports clubs?
True.
So you decide if you want to be an athlete, or you want to be a game developer, or you want to... It's just esports and gaming club. And we can begin to harness and build these talents from there.
Beautiful.
So schools definitely play a large part, just the same way it is with traditional sports. So from there, they can move on. You can create tournaments for secondary schools. Then they get into university, and the same way we have Nuga. And I know, at some point, Nuga tried to activate esports. I'm not sure how that is going right now. But it's something that is needed, because that's where we would identify talent that would eventually now become the pro athletes that we want them to be.
Exactly.
But if we don't do that, people just emerge from
different places.
Being self-taught. Some people just taught themselves. That's
true. From even some graduated from being casual gamers to
from casual gamers to playing competitively. So, but if you were playing from school, you begin to build the talent. It's happening with football, basketball, and all the other tournaments. You need to create that pipeline for esports also. So schools play a major role.
Yes, so very important. I wish, well, let's not go there.
It's interesting that even at an executive level, because I was privileged to teach 3 years in a row from 2022, 23, and 24, which was last year at Lagos Business School.
Oh,
I was
awesome!
invited to take the executive MBA class.
Mad.
It was a one-day module class of about 20 plus people. And you could see the questions they were asking, the passion they had for it. And for me, I was wondering, while taking those 3 sessions, those 3 different years, all that kept ringing in my ears is how much more of this kind of passion is locked in a secondary school system, university system. Let's not forget, these guys are all postgraduate guys.
Yeah.
So they're already watching. So university system, secondary school system, that could have been harnessed.
Telling you.
Rather than having them experience it for the first time, because some of them were experiencing it for the first time at an MBA level.
I think the government need to tap into this gold mine, because Indians are doing it. Asians are way ahead of don't even go there, because those ones are they're way ahead of us in that aspect. You see massive people really converging, gamers, passionate gamers. If our government can literally harness this and just leave entertainment for a while and just try and bring up this system, I think we're going to go way farther than other African countries that are going ahead of us now. So my final question would be, we have a lot of mistakes. There are a lot of mistakes underlining the factors of esport growing in Nigeria and in Africa generally. What do you think we can do to curb those mistakes and do better in approaching this factor?
So when we started the LASF, Lagos Esports Forum, in 2020, our mantra, if I can call it that, our vision was to engage, educate, engage, empower. Educate, engage, empower, 3 E's. And I think that's what is needed. If I would answer your question, the first thing we need to do is seek knowledge, because even the people who want to run and operate these things do not have a full grasp of what they want to do. If you do that, then you would understand that you would lay out, it wouldn't be haphazardly that you would do things. You would lay out a pipeline that says, this is what I want to achieve. And I'll give you an example. When we, like I said, pivoted into virtual sports, it was a well laid out plan that says, by the time the Olympic Esport Games is happening, anytime, we are standing in a position at a confluence of esports, which we've mastered for 5 years, and virtual sports, which has always been there but is emerging more now, because most federations are now tying into it and creating the esports vertical. Table tennis, taekwondo, boxing, rowing. In fact, athletics, because now Ronex was launched by World Athletics, the first ever world treadmill racing competition.
Treadmill?
So
Wow.
everybody wants to be part of
This.
treadmill. You understand of esports? Everybody wants to be part of esports. So education is important. Education is what will make you seek knowledge, and it's not about school. It's about
True.
how much of that supposed internet you have on this phone, data you have on this phone, you're using to access information that would help you grow in there. When you're done with that and you're well educated, then you can now think of engaging. Engaging is different stakeholders. Bring everyone into the room. Look at the strength of everyone. What's your power? What's your strength? Is it live production? Are you a strategist? Are you a media buff? Then we harness everybody's expertise into the different things that's needed within the ecosystem. My background is media. I knew I didn't want to do media in esports. I did radio TV for 10 years.
Whoa.
Full 10 years. Creating content for brands and building stuff. But I didn't want to do that in esports. I wanted to do something more around administration, because I tried to get into administration in sports, but there are gatekeepers fenced me out. Locked the gates. Graced to rise in esports thanks to the leadership of the GF, and who saw potential and said, "Hey, this guy can lead on the African continent as the Secretary General." You understand? So that has always been a passion for me. Aside that, as a businessman, I wanted to create properties. So that's why we had the mobile game tournament, which I was telling you, we did a lot around mobile gaming. So we did mobile game tournament. We created the mobile app, which we're bringing back soon, hopefully. And now virtual sports, we're building things around. So I've always wanted. So those are the things that were driving me.
Yeah.
So can we harness everybody's strength? Casey says she wants to be media. Now lead on this part. This person says it's good with live production and everything. This should be what he focuses on. This person is around the medics, because health and wellness is
very important. Yes,
in esports. Let that person focus on that. That way, we will not be making the mistake of
everyone is doing everything. Yes,
no expertise amongst everyone. Then ultimately, we empower people. Haven't educate, engage them, then it's time for empowerment, which is plug them in places where they will then harness and build more people like them over time. I think with those three, would banish the mistakes of the past and will scale esports as a nation, as individuals, as business entities, because it's the same model you can replicate on the entire country.
That's awesome, because it aligns with what Esports African News and Esports African Tournament want to do, like educate, empower, and entertain. Maybe not engage now, but entertain, because we always want to educate people, like what we're doing now, because this content could spread around all our socials and people can get to learn and understand that esports is not just about just playing a game. Right? And then after that, way bigger, and then empower them, by taking them, even training them if possible. When we get to that level, then taking them to the global stage. And then entertainment. I mean, you're playing game, you're enjoying yourself. Right? But you keep talking about virtual sports. What's the difference between virtual sports and esports?
So esports fell into the what would I call it now? Debacle. Maybe for want of a better word, fell into the debacle of the belief by the older generation, and especially people in traditional sports, that you're not moving. You're just sitting down. You're sitting down for hours. No movement. You're playing mobile console, also you're sitting and playing. Virtual sports has movement. So it's like a simulation of the regular thing. And I'm sure you've seen our stuffs we did for virtual table tennis. It's just the difference is just the headset. So a lot of games are being built around the headset. In fact, we have something we're doing next week, 26th December, with the guys at Zen Archery. And we just discovered 2 archery games on the VR that we're exploring right now. And we'll just be launching it at that. Because it's an archery event, but we're doing other things. Doing other things around esports. So that's the difference. Esports is believed to be static, seated, and just playing. Virtual sport has movement in it, and that's why it's easy for the IOC to embrace it. Let's not forget the Olympic movement as well. Movement as always. No pun intended. But the IOC has always been about physical movement, building yourself and all that. So it was easy for them to embrace it, and that's what they've encouraged almost all their federations. In fact, during the summit earlier this year, sometime mid this year, there were talks around over 30 federations already exploring
that
opportunities in their virtual side, and that's esports. So virtual taekwondo, for example, this year at their General Assembly in China, and going into next year, they already have virtual taekwondo as part of their calendar.
Wow.
ITTF, Table Tennis Federation, International Table Tennis Federation, also released their programs for next year, and in there somewhere there will be the Esports, Table Tennis Esports Championships in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia next year.
Wow.
So everyone is looking into that, especially
and you're in line already.
Federation that we are working on how Africa would not be left behind. The reason for all this is the continents, because the truth is every other person will sort themselves out. Sorts Africa out,
right?
So that's the passion for me.
That's true. We need to sort ourselves out, because first, if we can love ourselves and build a community around ourselves, the world will also see that these people are actually they're building themselves, and they want to now assist us in going further. So finally, before I conclude the podcast with Mr. Sayo today, what is the one thing you would say that in Africa, in Nigeria, or maybe even private sector or private entity, what's the one thing you would say, if you can do this, you'll be able to get ABC right? Like, if you can, I'm not going to give you the word or give you the expo, but if you can, maybe train this amount of people, then you'll be able to scale in the esports ecosystem. What is that one thing?
I think people need to understand trends.
The same trends.
That's the secret. You understand trends and be true to it. So when I got into the space, my first, of course, there's been engagement with gaming in the past.
Yeah.
While I was on radio, TV, people would reach out. We have this FIFA tournament. Monthly around. We have this FIFA tournament. We want you to come and help us do. Well, it's shoutcasting about run commentaries and host the event. I'll say no problem, I'll go there. That was my first engagement, but of course, post-COVID, it was down to business, because sports was locked down.
Right.
Thriving, so it was business. It was a business move that got me into esports. But I also understood the trend at the time that people lacked understanding of the ecosystem. So education was a big conversation at the time, and it still is, but at the time it was a big conversation. And I was in every forum you find me, my questions were around education, and I stayed true to it. Because we're the first, or part of the first set of organizations in Africa to have a partnership with HP for the HP Gaming Garage. In fact, I took a session on leadership with the garage in 2022. I was a judge during the Gameathon that they had at the end, where about 18 plus teams created different games.
Wow.
I was part of the judges
in Nigeria.
No, it was Pan-Africa.
Oh, okay.
Most of those guys were in Dubai. The finalists, the three teams that made it to the final. So I stayed true to that. I didn't just say it as lip service because I understood the trend then, education.
Yeah.
I stayed true to it till now. I'm still a member of the Education, Culture and Youth Commission at the Global Esports Federation, and I'm contributing my quota to how we can continue to grow in terms of education. I told you I was part of LBS.
Yeah.
In fact, one thing I've never done before, I did it last summer with my daughter's school. Because they reached out and said, your daughter has said a lot about you. And but they wanted me to do it, and I did it free of charge. Normally it should come with a charge, but it was good to see the kids' happiness when I took them in that session on virtual table tennis.
Right.
So took them sessions, they practiced it on the VR and all that. So I'm staying true to that trend about education. Another trend now, like I said, is virtual sports. I'm staying true to it, and we've just started.
That's true.
We've activated virtual taekwondo, like I said, activated virtual table tennis. I'm staying true to it, and we're going all the way.
And there's so much more to do.
Still so much more to do. So understand the trend, stay true to it, reach out for people who can help you scale or access it. All that, I believe, would help you get to the next level, because no one is an island on their own.
True.
And you can only build with people coming together. That's my belief.
There was only one mistake I made during this session. I forgot to bring my notes and my pen to take lessons from, because I mean, come on, so much knowledge, so much impact you've made towards me today, and I am so grateful. Esports Africa News is so grateful. So thank you so much, Mr. Sayo. It's really been a great time. I've learned so much, and I'm going to be on your neck now.
No problem.
Because there's so much we can do, really, to grow the ecosystem in Nigeria and in Africa. So we'll see you on the next one, guys. Stay locked in. Ciao.